Okay, in this video we're going to look at a Steyr M95 long rifle, which the amount of these guns that have survived, they're kind of hard to find. You can find carbines every day, but the long rifle, not so easy to add to your collection. And like I said, this particular gun has the rifle sights. So if you find a carbine with these longer sights on there, it has been a shortened rifle. What they did, I believe, post-World War II, is they shortened the rifles and kept them in reserves in some countries until the 80s. Now it's a standard M95, and this one I believe was overhauled after World War I by the Poles, and it goes by the markings. So we'll get over here and we'll start looking at some of the markings, but first I'm going to focus in on the rear sight. Okay, as you see, I believe that is in meters at this point, and 300 meters is with the slider up and standing the rear sight up. Okay, and much like the carbine, there's a 5 on the back of that solid part of the sight where my thumb is. So you have to flip it up, lift up the ladder or the slider, and then you have your 300 meter, which is the closest setting. We'll take a look at that when it's standing up. And that's how it would be if we go to shoot this and want to use a 300 meter sight, which would be down at the bottom. That's what we'll have to do when we take this out to shoot it. Now we'll try to focus in on the receiver and acceptance stamp markings. Alright, as we see on the receiver, standard Steyr M95, and the barrel has an acceptance date of 1915. But when we look at the other side, we'll find that the barrel is mismatched serial number wise to the receiver, meaning this was probably assembled and arsenal reworked post World War I, and I believe for Poland. And we'll look at the markings that kind of give that away. Alright, there's two small stamps here on the barrel and on the receiver, which I believe were acceptance stamps after the rebuild of this rifle. Okay, and Poland was reformed in 1919 by the Versailles Treaty, and in 1920 or 21 immediately went to war with the Bolshevik Russians or Ukrainians at that period of time. Alright, the rifle has a standard K here on the tang of the receiver, which is standard acceptance mark or inspection mark. And this gun does have a unit marking on the back of the butt plate, or the top of the butt plate, 72R. Now, with the rifle upside down, it has an N here stamped into the stock. What it means, I do not know. And 80M and the R on the trigger guard. There may be some other stamps here that are not readable. And it appears it was rusted and somebody kind of scraped all the rust off. But other than that, standard rifle used. And like I said, post World War I, when Poland was formed, they immediately went to war 2021, and they used a lot of leftover material. Actually, they had French uniforms during that period, for a period of time, until they standardized their stuff. But they used a hodgepodge of all kinds of different weapons from World War I until they started organizing the country and producing weapons of their own. Okay, and as we see, we have two different serial numbers, one on the barrel, one on the receiver. So this gun was probably rebuilt post-war. And there's another 80 here on the handguard stamped in. The bolt does not have any serial number whatsoever on it. I checked where our carbine had one stamped into the knob. The gun's in fairly good shape, but like I said, this is another one that I believe was brought in very early, long before the regulation where they had to have an import mark. So the fact that it's been re-arsenaled and that, you know, people say, oh, it's a vet bring back. I kind of doubt that. A lot of these guns, like I said, were sold on the surplus market in the 50s and 60s. I had several variants of carbines and rifles in different calibers. They were kind of common, but then they disappeared until the big influx when they came out. I think Bulgarian and a lot of the Austrian weapons came in that period of time. But this is an unusual one, and when we start working on the 8x50 round, both of these guns are going to get out to the range, and I'm hoping that I will achieve success in pretty much fabricating a round or ammunition for these guns. So like I said before, now is a good time to think about getting a membership, because all the information and as I form and do this will be available for members only videos. Okay, thank you. Hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.